Good evening, I'm Matt Woodman. This is CTV News at 6. Tonight, stopping stunting. The province's plan to curb dangerous drivers after dropping photo radar.
We really want to make sure that we can make our streets that much safer.
Water waste. A man in St. Albert fed up with trash being dumped in a nearby pond.
I counted over 100 pieces of construction garbage the other day.
And a cockpit comeback. A 92-year-old Air Force veteran pilots a plane he learned to fly in the 50s.
I feel like I'm starting all over again.
Some rain on the way for tomorrow, some gusty wind, and the start of a cool down for the next few days.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Matt Woodman.
The province will soon roll out a new campaign targeting stunt drivers and excessive speeders. One city councillor says advertising doesn't go far enough and more enforcement is needed. CTV's Connor Hogg reports.
We really want to make sure that we can make our streets that much safer.
The province says it will soon be making life more difficult for stunt drivers and street racers who post videos like these of vehicles speeding around others on Alberta roads. A new campaign starting later this month will aim to educate Albertans and encourage them to report risky behavior.
They know the way in which they can report speeding across the province, as well as try to make speeding or especially racing uncool, and to be able to target individuals that sometimes are going out on social media posting lap times.
I think the minister is backpedaling because it's such a deadly year.
There have been 22 deadly crashes in Edmonton so far this year, compared to 16 at the same time last year. After the province introduced new rules earlier this year, Edmonton got rid of photo radar. City Councillor Michael Jans says the province is playing politics.
We don't need more posters. We don't need snazzy radio ads. What we need is enforcement.
A lot of these racers or speeders or excessive speeders would have license plate covers or spray that they would put on their license plate, which would make photo radar completely ineffective in being able to give them any tickets.
Dreeshen says the province is working with law enforcement to identify times and locations where stunt speeding takes place. He says reports from law-abiding drivers will help identify those trouble spots. Political watchers question whether a campaign will be enough to deter those who already take measures to conceal their identity when they drive dangerously.
It would be important, I think, to message more clearly, not just that this is dangerous and problematic, but that there's going to be more effective enforcement.
Dreeshen says the province is working to make sure there is physical enforcement on major roadways.
Make sure that people understand and realize that driving is a privilege.
Dreeshen says the new campaign will run for 2 to 3 weeks, after which the province will evaluate its effectiveness. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
A man is facing sexual assault and kidnapping charges after a woman was assaulted in Blatchford. Police say last month a woman got into the car of a man she did not know near 113th Street and Jasper Avenue. He drove her to a construction site in Blatchford, sexually assaulted her, and left her there before driving off. Police released a sketch in the hopes of identifying the attacker. Last Friday, police arrested a 30-year-old man. He's been released on bail with conditions, including a 24-hour curfew, and he must surrender his passport. City councillors have rejected a proposal by the Path for People group to close a section of 76th Avenue to vehicle traffic. The city is redeveloping the road where it crosses Mill Creek Ravine because the culvert under the avenue is crumbling. Last winter, Paths for People suggested closing the road to traffic. Leaders from 5 surrounding community leagues are against the proposal. Councillors say that stance influenced its decision to support the city's original plan.
What I heard fairly strongly from most of those residents is a desire to still have that connectivity from a group of communities that is very actively in desire of more active transportation, more mobility options.
The ultimate design hasn't been decided on yet, but there are 4 different options. They include simply replacing the culvert, building a new vehicle bridge and trestle bridge, or building one bridge for both cars and pedestrians. According to the evaluation criteria, the bridge and trestle replacement without a culvert carries the lowest environmental risk. A man in St. Albert says a stormwater pond in his city has been covered in trash for months. He says the garbage is coming from nearby construction sites in a developing neighborhood. As CTV's Sangha reports, he wants more done to stop it.
While on a bike ride 3 months ago, Brett Bokoway stopped at this pond in St. Albert's Riverside neighborhood and saw it littered with trash.
I noticed large piles of plastic insulation all piled up along the edge of this wetland.
He says it appeared construction waste from nearby development sites had blown in and around the pond. Bokoway says the city partially cleaned it up in early July. He also asked the developer to do the same, but Bokoway says the problem persists.
I counted over 100 pieces of construction garbage the other day, and there's big pieces of plastic, there's lumber in there, there's styrofoam in there, there's a ton of stuff that's still in the water. Thing, right? But like, you can see this giant thing in the wetland.
He's concerned about the wildlife here, especially the birds.
And there's all kinds of red-winged blackbirds that are in that pond over there, and they're busy trying to make their nests in the spring, and yet they're faced with all this construction garbage that's piling up there.
We see a disproportionate amount of animals being negatively impacted by refuse or trash sometimes from these sites that are being developed.
Wild North's Dale Guinaud says it's easy for birds to get entangled in plastic and trash. He says they'll use it to build nests or get caught in it when they duck their heads in the water to eat.
In one summer, I rescued 7 ducks from one stormwater facility in one summer with garbage around its neck.
Guinaud believes there should be stricter rules when it comes to managing trash at large developments. He also says people in general need to be more responsible when disposing their trash.
And if we're going to share our environment with these animals, we have to make sure we protect them by protecting their environment.
We need to do something when it comes to policy and enforcement so that developers and builders have to keep a handle on their garbage before it ends up in our natural areas.
The city of St. Albert tells CTV News it's aware of concerns and it's investigated. It says the pond is regularly cleaned by the developer Jen Starr and has also been cleaned by the city. It says it will continue to work with the developer to ensure the city is clean. Nav Sangha, CTV News, Edmonton.
Alberta's canola industry could be taking a hit with China introducing an anti-dumping duty. Alberta produces a third of Canada's canola. The rate will be set at nearly 76% effective Thursday. That's on top of the 100% tariff on Canadian canola oils back in March. It's a fresh escalation in a year-long trade dispute that began with Ottawa imposing tariffs on Chinese electric vehicle imports last summer. China is the world's largest importer of canola and sources nearly all of its supplies of the product from Canada.
Right now, it could be absolutely devastating. I woke up this morning, as most canola farmers did, seeing that we had lost about $1 a bushel in the value of our product that we want to sell this year. So, quite roughly, that's 7% of our income.
Alberta's agriculture minister calls the move a devastating blow to the province's agriculture industry. R.J. Sigurdsson says China is Alberta's second largest agricultural export market. He's calling on Ottawa to engage with China and restore market access. The Alberta Cancer Foundation Lottery is back for its 25th year with prizes larger than ever before. Formerly known as Cash and Cars, this year's lottery includes more than 1,000 prizes worth more than $3.5 million. The grand prize winner can choose between different prizes worth nearly $3 million. Every lottery ticket purchased helps researchers and cancer patients.
It's kind of a hit in the gut. Saw my life flash before my eyes and just... In a way, I knew it was cancer, but I also didn't know, obviously, it was cancer. But I just think it's a horrible feeling, but I just feel like I had to fight harder for my life.
It supports directly patient financial assistance programs at the foundation, but also clinical trials operations across the province.
The grand prizes include a $2.8 million dream villa in Calgary, more than $2 million in cash, or an Edmonton home package worth up to $2.5 million. Tickets will be drawn until the end of November. The city of St. Albert celebrated Youth Day with a free drop-in event. Kids and teens from 12 to 18 gathered at St. Albert Place in the Little White School to connect with one another. Organizers were also there to help them try new things.
Because, and we planned out like this whole week to hang out. Yeah. You guys friends? Yeah, we barely see each other.
It's kind of an opportunity for them to see what we have to offer for youth.
Activities include speed stacking, making magnets and keychains, Indigenous games, and watercolor bookmarks. Oktoberfest celebrations will return to Ice District next month. The event gives people a chance to experience authentic Bavarian food, live music, entertainment, and of course, beer. They'll be serving up steins of German and local craft beer. There's also family-friendly activities offered during the day. This is the third year the Oilers Entertainment Group has hosted Oktoberfest, a celebration it says continues to grow.
We're looking into some different activities for both the outside and inside the tent. We've added a lot of infrastructure that we've invested in over the last year or two to add into the tent to really elevate the experience, and really looking forward to growing this into a long-term annual signature event in our downtown.
Oktoberfest runs over 3 weekends between September 11th and 27th. Pre-sale tickets go online Thursday, with the general sale starting Friday. Maybe my favorite thing about Oktoberfest, Josh, is that it takes place in September. That and you get to wear lederhosen. What could be better?
It's a win-win. Yeah. It's a win-win.
Still needs to be warm enough to be wearing those little German shorts out there.
Yeah, and September has been fairly warm these past number of years. We'll see if that returns again this year. In the next couple of days, it's a cooling trend that's settling in, though. And some rain. 26 degrees in Edmonton right now. We get to 27 for a daytime high today, so 4 degrees above average. That may be the last time we're above average until Monday or Tuesday of next week. It's a fairly warm and cloudy start to the day. It's 17 degrees this morning. Then the sunshine came out this afternoon. Here's what it looks like right now with the CTV drone. There are some fairly dark clouds off to the northwest. We're under kind of a mix of sun and cloud across the Edmonton region, but that's going to change somewhere around 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight. You've got some showers and thunderstorms there up south of Barhead and just off to the southeast of Sangha that are tumbling towards the Edmonton region. So early to mid-evening, some showers and maybe a couple rumbles of thunder. Doesn't look like anything really all that significant in the way of thunderstorm activity for the city, although not much right now, but there are severe thunderstorm watches for east central parts of northeastern Alberta and then areas off to the south and southwest of Edmonton. So we'll see what develops later on this evening. I think it's mainly east central Alberta late tonight, and then again later in the day tomorrow that has the best chance of seeing some severe thunderstorms. Here in the city should be non-severe thunderstorms or just scattered showers early to mid-evening. Cloudy skies overnight tonight. Rain starts early tomorrow morning. Looks like the bulk of it will fall through the first half of the day, and then it'll taper off to scattered showers for the afternoon. Full look at that and the rest of your 5-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Josh, thank you. When we return, creating a new team tradition.
We've been able to share it with many, many nations.
Putting a new spin on an Indigenous game that's been around for generations. Plus one win and they're in. The Edmonton Riverhawks getting ready for the team's biggest game in franchise history.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Peter Cash and Jenna Winterburn from 104.9 Virgin Radio, and we need your help to send some kids back to school with some fresh new kicks.
That is right. Join us right here at Kingsway Mall on Saturday, August 16th, as we collect new shoes in support of Cara Family Resources Center's Kicks for Kids campaign.
Now, we're going to be here from noon to 4. Drop off a new unused pair of shoes and help us walk towards a brighter future, one step at a time.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Thousands of kids from across the province are in Edmonton this week participating in the Alberta Indigenous Games. Sports being played include flag football, golf, and beach volleyball. CTV's Merrick DeCash reports on one of the more traditional events.
The concept of hand games might seem complicated at first.
Put your hand like this, and people get to guess which side is the thing you're holding, and if it's right, you show them, but if it's wrong, you show the other side.
The game has been around for generations. Originally, it was used as a way to barter for food and supplies.
You got the corn, we've got this. You've got the buffalo hides, we've got this. So we played those games, and most of the times they were one-on-one.
Now it's being played for a 6th year in a row at the Alberta Indigenous Games in a team format.
We've been able to share it with many, many nations. And so the favorite part is seeing all of those youth that come that have no clue what they're doing, and then when they're done, they're addicted and they want more.
12 First Nations are competing against each other for the ultimate crown. Some participants are as young as 8 years old.
I like the music that they play with the drums. It's fun because I get to play against other people.
In some northern communities, women are not allowed to play hand games.
As time evolves, it's absolutely beautiful, and I believe that it's very respectful that the women are allowed in that circle to be able to do that.
This week at the Indigenous Games, girls are a part of almost every team.
I think that it's not true because girls are so good at hand games, more than boys.
Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
An Alberta rivalry is heating up this week. The Edmonton Stingers will tip off against the Calgary Surge for a do-or-die playoff game. The winner will advance to the Canadian Elite Basketball League Western semifinal against the Vancouver Bandits. The Stingers enter the playoffs on a 3-game winning streak.
We haven't seen 3-game or 5-game series. There's not much tweaking between. It's you got to come and give them your best shot. We talk about that winner go home mentality. It's you got to leave it all on the floor in that one opportunity, and then if you're lucky enough to win, then you're on to Vancouver with the same sort of mindset.
The Stingers finished third in the Western Conference regular season. Edmonton has not won a championship since its back-to-back league titles in 2020 and 2021. For the first time in franchise history, the Riverhawks are headed to the second round of the West Coast League playoffs. The first pitch of the winner-take-all game against the Bellingham Bells is at 7 o'clock tonight. This is your last chance to catch the Hawks at Remax Field this year. If the Hawks win tonight, they will advance to the West Coast League championship game. That will be hosted by either the Portland Pickles or Corvallis Knights. Coming up next on CTV News, returning to the runway. An Alberta pilot in his 90s takes off in the type of plane that launched his Air Force career.
Showers and thunderstorms possible early to mid-evening, and then some steady rain on the way for tomorrow, and a string of days in the teens for daytime highs. Forecast next.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
A 92-year-old pilot soared over Cooking Lake today, flying the same kind of plane that launched his career in the Royal Canadian Air Force. As CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti reports, the flight happened because of a chance meeting and an act of kindness.
It's been 70 years since Ron DeHolke flew inside a Harvard aircraft. He trained in this type of plane as a pilot in 1956 for the Royal Canadian Air Force.
The training program was leading to the fact that if there was a war, you're going to be able to fly a fighter, and defend your country, so to speak.
Last weekend, DeHolke struck up a conversation with pilot Brock Allison at the Cooking Lake Airport. It just so happened Allison owns the same type of iconic plane DeHolke once flew in.
Brock was nice enough to offer me a ride, so here we are.
Giving the former pilot a chance to fly again was a no-brainer.
People like Ron, are a connection with history. Here's a real live person that used to fly these planes and was training in the Air Force.
Standing beside the yellow plane turned the clock back 7 decades.
I've got that same feeling again today because it's been such a long time since I've been in one, so I feel like I'm starting all over again almost.
With a bit of help, he's back inside the cockpit. How do you feel?
Excited, just nervous, happy.
Ready for takeoff.
He still remembers the power settings that he would use for takeoff, climb, cruise, aerobatics.
Taking a try at the control wheel in the air, DeHolke is transported back to his 20s, grateful for a chance to relive his past.
Brock, I am so thankful I can't even express it.
A smooth ride all around, with only one regret.
I didn't want to do a loop. I should have tried one, but I'm chicken. But man, it was fantastic.
Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
I don't know if I would have had the guts to try the loop either. I think I would have just left that one.
Well, you're also not a pilot,
yeah.
so
They also won't let me drive a car when I'm 92. I promise you that. So
too many loops in this
in the parking lot.
River Valley Skycams brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed rider, it's free. It's 26 degrees in Edmonton right now with clouds increasing from the west-northwest. 27, your daytime high today. Same in Jasper. Got to the mid-20s in Grand Prairie, Red Deer through east central Alberta, although Fort McMurray stayed at 19 for a daytime high. Severe thunderstorm watch for the areas in yellow. Again, just means potential for some severe thunderstorms. We're not seeing anything all that severe as of right now. There was one storm just off to the southwest of Drayton Valley in the last hour or so that was producing some hail, but that's now weakened. So you've got some thunderstorms here across the northeast of the non-severe variety. You get a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity back there just off to the north of the Peace River region. And then this activity back off to the west and northwest of the Edmonton region. It's looking like the best chance for these lightning strikes is going to pass north of the city. So there may be some rumbles of thunder in parts of the Edmonton area, but it doesn't look like the worst of that storm is going to roll right through the Edmonton area. There is a little bit more developing sort of on the southern edge and then back off to the west, southwest. Again, somewhere between 7:30, 8 o'clock for some showers and thunderstorms, at least in the area. And then we'll see things dry up a little bit through the overnight period. We'll watch overnight tonight, east central Alberta, for the chance for some severe thunderstorms. This looks more like steady rain. There might be some embedded thunderstorms in this, but through the morning hours, steady rain in and around the Edmonton region. Most of that moves off to the east-northeast through the afternoon. Again, we'll watch east central Alberta for the potential for some severe thunderstorms. You notice how this really kind of backs off to just mostly cloudy with some hit and miss showers through the afternoon hours tomorrow. Again, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. I really think the bulk of the rain is done by lunchtime or early afternoon. It's not completely done with us until overnight Wednesday night, though, as some showers may return through the late evening hours. And then through the course of the day, Thursday, after a cloudy start, we'll see some sun break back through the clouds. So wet tomorrow, primarily in the morning, and then it's more like showers and scattered thunderstorms later in the day. 18 degrees in Fort McMurray right now. It's 25 in Grand Prairie, mid-20s as well, Red Deer, and here in Edmonton. We'll see temperatures drop to about 18 by midnight and a low of 14 or 15 tomorrow morning. Chance of a shower or thunderstorm early to mid-evening. Otherwise, just increasing cloud through the overnight with rain starting tomorrow morning. Gusty tomorrow afternoon and a high of 18. The VIP prize deadline in the Mighty Millions lottery supporting the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation is midnight Friday. You have until midnight Friday to get your tickets and be eligible for the BMW convertible VIP prize, or you could take $100,000. Go to mightymillionslottery.com. 18 tomorrow, 19 on Thursday with some clearing in the afternoon, and then 18 again Friday. So 3 straight days where we don't get above 20. Should get back into the low 20s Saturday, and then mid-20s for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week.
All right, Josh, thank you. Still to come tonight on CTV News, meeting global demand.
Our allies are very interested in Canadian LNG.
Canada's energy minister discusses when we'll likely see new natural resource projects and the importance of liquefied natural gas. Plus,
so I wanted to show you something.
Okay. Sleuthing Swifties. Taylor Swift fans follow the clues to learn she's releasing a new album.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Help make history this summer with the world's largest egg and spoon race, August 30th in Vegreville. Registration is now open.
Canada's energy minister says new nation-building projects will begin receiving approval early this fall. The minister shed some light on the kinds of natural resource projects could get the green light. As CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, it appears Canadian liquefied natural gas will be a significant part of those plans.
I know there are buyers.
Canada's energy minister made it clear today that with multiple projects in the works and a global demand for cleaner energy, there's a market for Canadian liquefied natural gas that may help make the case for facilities to be fast-tracked through the new national projects process.
What I can tell you from the conversations that the Prime Minister has been having, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has been having, the Minister of International Trade has been having, the conversations I've been having, our allies are very interested in Canadian LNG.
A comment the natural resources sector welcomed.
More customers, more shipments, more LNG export facilities means more jobs for Canadians.
The minister said that as soon as the private sector, provincial governments, and Indigenous groups put forward projects, the federal government will start deciding which ones are in the national interest.
I would expect you would see a rolling set of announcements over the fall as different projects mature and meet the criteria.
While stating the government remains committed to its climate objectives, the minister wouldn't rule out easing federal emissions targets to move these projects forward.
The LNG emissions math is inescapable. So these projects in Canada result in significant increase in emissions. Like one project is equal to about 1 million cars.
Minister Hodgson said that he's focused on results and not how we get there, indicating the powers Cabinet now has through Bill C-5 allows him to deal with any issues that arise. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
The union representing Air Canada flight attendants has declined a proposal from the airline to enter binding arbitration. The development means CUPE could declare its plans for a work stoppage anytime after midnight Wednesday. The two sides have been negotiating for more than 8 months. The earliest flight attendants could walk off the job is this Saturday at midnight. Last week, flight attendants voted more than 99% in favor of giving their union a strike mandate. The union says its main sticking points are low wages and unpaid labor. A WestJet system outage that caused flight delays at multiple major airports has been resolved. The Alberta-based airline says it had network-wide technical issues this morning. A spokesperson for WestJet says the issue delayed the handover of aircraft from maintenance to scheduled operation. The issue is now resolved. Airports in Ottawa, Toronto, Saskatoon, Montreal, and Calgary all reported delays. Hundreds of National Guard troops are now on the ground in Washington, D.C. U.S. President Donald Trump said yesterday he plans to deploy 800 soldiers to remove encampments and relocate the city's homeless population.
We already have seen success. We are removing violent offenders, we are arresting criminals, and we are removing drugs and firearms off of the streets of the city to make it safer for all of its residents.
This is the second time Trump has deployed the military within the United States. In June, he sent troops to Los Angeles following days of unrest sparked by his immigration raids. Canada has joined several other countries in signing a joint statement calling on Israel to allow unrestricted aid into the Gaza Strip. The foreign minister of 24 nations say the suffering in the territory has reached unimaginable levels. They warn famine is unfolding before our eyes and urgent action is needed now to stop and reverse starvation. They insist all crossings and routes must be used to allow food, shelter, fuel, water, and medicine into the area. Israel has denied responsibility for hunger spreading in Gaza. It's accusing Hamas of stealing shipments of aid. A wildfire is forcing thousands of people living near Newfoundland's largest city to leave their homes.
It's extremely dry and hot. They say that the fire is moving very quickly. It's moving at a rate that's they consider to be quite high, and there's tremendous heat from the fire.
The provincial government says people living in parts of the Paradise suburb of St. John's must leave immediately. It's home to about 23,000 people. A state of emergency has been declared in Paradise, the neighboring town of Conception Bay South, and the St. John's neighborhoods of Galloway and Southlands. The fire is about 15 kilometers south of the capital and began on Monday. It grew to roughly 2 square kilometers by Monday evening. 2 more wildfires are burning in that province. In New Brunswick, an out-of-control wildfire in the Miramichi area has tripled in size since yesterday. A wildfire near Moncton is also out of control. People living north of Moncton have been told to prepare to leave their homes. So far, there have been no evacuations. No homes or other buildings have been lost in New Brunswick. 14 air tankers and 3 helicopters are part of the firefighting effort. On the west coast of Canada, an out-of-control wildfire has forced the evacuation of a campground in BC, southwest of Port Alberni. The fire on Vancouver Island is more than 6 square kilometers in size. Near Nanaimo, the people have been told they can return to their homes but must stay on evacuation alert due to a nearby wildfire. British Columbia says it will appeal a landmark BC Supreme Court ruling granting rights and title over a large piece of land in Richmond to a Vancouver Island First Nation. As CTV's Ben Milger reports, the ruling raises questions about the rights of private property owners.
Today, it's a hub of industry, transportation, and warehouses. But at one time, this expanse of land bordering the south arm of the Fraser River in Richmond was a summer fishing village for the Cowichan tribes.
Our lands were taken. Our fishing rights were denied. Our voices were silenced. But we remembered.
Following the longest trial in Canadian history, the BC Supreme Court sided with the Cowichan in a lawsuit against the federal and provincial governments, the City of Richmond, and the Musqueam and Tsawwassen First Nations.
In your courts, your laws, we followed those rules. And a ruling came down.
The ruling grants the Cowichan fishing rights and title to 7.5 square kilometers of land in Richmond. Some of the land is held by the federal crown, some by the city, and the rest by private owners. According to the ruling, land title grants issued by the federal and BC governments are invalid and infringe on Cowichan title to the land.
What does that mean for the private landowners who currently have that land?
Yeah, there are many answers that we need to seek clarity from a higher level of court with respect to the state of the law in general.
Although Attorney General Nikki Sharma has promised to appeal the ruling, she's not yet sure on what legal grounds.
Our team is working through what we think are quite a few grounds of appeal, potential grounds of appeal. It's not unlike many very complicated cases which are related to rights and title.
In the meantime, the province will be seeking a stay to pause implementation of the ruling, which could eventually wind up before the Supreme Court of Canada. Ben Milger, CTV News, Richmond.
The Duchess of Edinburgh is coming to Alberta. Spruce Meadows says Sophie will be visiting the Calgary Sports Facility during the Masters tournament in September. Earlier this year, the show jumping facility announced the Duchess as its royal patron. Sophie will arrive on September 4th and stay for 3 days. Along with taking in some of the competition, Her Royal Highness will also visit a number of local charities supported by Spruce Meadows. Taylor Swift is releasing new music. The singer confirmed a new album is coming after leaving a trail of clues for fans to follow. CTV's Andrea Case has the details.
Speculation about an announcement from Taylor Swift was running rampant on Monday after this teaser promoting a special guest on her NFL star boyfriend Travis Kelce and his brother Jason's popular podcast, New Heights. Sleuths quickly figured out this cutout matched this photo. Then, 12 minutes later, Taylor Nation, an official branch of her marketing team, posted photos of Swift wearing orange and the caption, thinking about when she said, "See you next era." Then this.
Such a nice color on you.
Yes. She broke the news herself this morning, August 12th at 12:12. She would be releasing her 12th album.
So I wanted to show you something.
Okay. What do we got?
We got
a briefcase.
Yep.
Mint green with TS on it.
Yep.
What's in it?
This is my brand new album, The Life of a Showgirl.
I think it's awesome. I love Taylor Swift.
Why is it awesome?
Because all her music's great.
I think that's great. I mean, I've been listening to Taylor since as a kid too, since 2012. So new album, that's crazy. It's great.
While the 35-year-old 14-time Grammy winner has often referred to her ex-boyfriends in her lyrics, she's never made an album announcement this way and rarely does interviews or appears on podcasts. No official date has been given as to when it will be released, but fans can pre-order The Life of a Showgirl on Swift's website now, and vinyl editions will be shipped before October 13th. Andrea Case, CTV News.
Coming up next, laying waste.
This material ends up in landfill and they don't biodegrade at all.
How Alberta students are turning construction waste into valuable building materials. Also just ahead.
What are the amenities that are needed in a building like this that should be repurposed?
What to do with all the empty Hudson Bay stores across Alberta? Here's a live look at the St. Albert BMX Center. Get out there while you can. Josh says there's some more wet weather on the way this week. Stay with us. Much more to come here on CTV News at 6. Here's a look at the markets for this Tuesday evening. The Canadian dollar up ever so slightly today, still above 72 cents U.S. Oil lost 79 cents, dropping to 63.17, and gold dropped by nearly $6. The TSX up today, 146 points. The Dow Jones up 483 points. The future of some of Alberta's vacant Hudson Bay locations is uncertain, including the former Stephen Ave store in Calgary. Last week, real estate investor RioCan said it was cutting financial ties with 5 of its now defunct Hudson's Bay properties. That leaves questions about maintenance costs for the 110-year-old building. It's not a heritage site and is not protected against demolition. The Calgary Downtown Association hopes to meet with city leaders to discuss its future.
So how do we look at this amount of retail space and meet the current demands with our focus on intensification? We want more people living downtown. What are the amenities that are needed in a building like this that should be repurposed?
Hudson's Bay has liquidated all stores across Canada and is in the process of selling its leases and preparing to auction off its art and artifacts. Alberta University students are using their engineering skills to help improve water quality in Costa Rica. The group flew south to build a water storage tank while working with the community to filter the water. CTV's Tyson Vador reports.
University of Calgary students Caden Calgren and Owen Thurbide are getting set to plan their next engineering project. In May, they spent 1 week upgrading the water system in a tiny Costa Rican village of fewer than 100 people.
While we were on the grounds, we managed to greatly repair the storage tank. We managed to begin the implementation of sedimentation, a new water source capture tank, and that new water source would more than double the town's water capacity and water flow.
They documented the trip working with locals by digging holes, framing the storage tank, and pouring concrete.
It was both an opportunity for me to apply engineering skills in a real world setting while also being able to help other people and address, water insecurity.
The group began planning the project last September following Calgary's Bears Paw water feeder main breaking, causing infrastructure chaos here.
This town's current water source was depreciating and it needed to be revamped. It was very old.
A charity that works closely with Costa Rica told the students about the water troubles in the village of Taos.
On the ground and being able to communicate with the locals and see how much water is important to them. They often described it as like a source of life, and one of the locals described it as like where a town starts is where the water system is.
Project 90, a student-led group at the U of C, focuses on engineering projects for 90% of the global population.
Approximately 10% of the population in the world receives 90% of the engineering benefits.
The group faced some challenges in the field when it came to land. Their advisor and university professor says the students dealt with a real-world problem from the knowledge they had learned.
That's a good lesson for students that they realize that what we know from textbooks, what we know in classes, could be very, very different once it comes to application.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
Several Alberta post-secondaries are teaming up to turn construction waste into paving stones. Red Deer Polytechnic, the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, the Southern Alberta Institute of Technology, and a Calgary company are working together on the project. The 2-year venture aims to create sustainable paving stones to address the growing environmental challenge of asphalt shingle waste.
This material ends up in landfill and they don't biodegrade at all. So what is another way that we can look at using these? So not only for diversion of landfill waste, but reducing the amount of emissions in terms of this material.
The students hope to create a commercial production unit capable of producing 9,000 paving stones an hour. The school says students will be involved in every step of the process. The project is being funded in part with a $450,000 grant from Emissions Reduction Alberta. When we return, when Domino's gives you lemons.
Our business plan was we were going to go out there with a smile and sell as much as we can.
How a partnership between a pizza chain and young entrepreneurs is teaching kids the business basics.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
The next generation of entrepreneurs in Kitchener are getting a little help from local business owners. They're learning when life gives you lemons, you need to come up with a business plan. CTV's Ashley Bacon explains.
Here you go, sir. Thank you. You're welcome.
Learning the foundation of operating a business.
And also, I feel like the key to success was teamwork.
Owen and his sister Emma have been operating a lemonade and snack stand in the Country Hills neighborhood of Kitchener. This summer, they've taken it to the next level, thanks in part to the team at local Domino's locations.
They come in with a lot of awesome ideas. We've had kids come in with posters before, drawings. I've had some kids come in with resumes, and they're just excited about it as we are.
They're partnering with local families to offer a slice of creativity while learning about entrepreneurship.
They gave us like the hats and the coupons, and they told us we could sell it for like how much we wanted. Our business plan was we were going to go out there with a smile and sell as much as we can.
For mom Brett Lee Jones, she's happy to see her children gaining new knowledge.
They also wanted to do things like selling freezies. So how much is a box of freezies going to cost? How much are we going to sell them for? And profit. So it was really neat watching them talk about that and, argue about pricing and stuff like that.
The team at Domino's Waterloo region and surrounding areas has been offering the mentorship program for the last 4 years, helping around 100 families develop their own lemonade stands in the process. A partnership giving these budding business owners the confidence to take on future challenges.
Because I like all the compliments on how much manners I have and how I'm a great entrepreneur. Lemonade, come buy some lemonade.
For young entrepreneurs like Owen and Emma, they get to learn skills along the way. But for the community, we get to cool down on a hot summer's day. Delicious. Ashley Bacon, CTV News, Kitchener.
In the United Kingdom, a baby goat is looking for work as a sheepdog. Lil the goat loves trying to round up sheep on her farm. Her owners say she was rejected by her mother at birth and was taken in by the farm's sheepdogs. Now she's convinced she's one of them and is even starting to understand some commands from her owner.
There's a storybook there, a movie.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah. The next big Disney picture, I'm sure. It would be like if you and I switched, Josh. Maybe I could take a stab at the weather here. Not that I was raised by meteorologists or anything.
You are a bit of a goat.
If you say so. Your words, not mine. I'll leave it to the experts here.
Two meanings to that, Woodman. You get some showers. Looks like the lightning's kind of fizzling out there just off to the northwest of the city, but some showers will push through at least parts of the city, I think, especially northern parts of the city here over the course of the next hour or so, and then a bit of a break. Next showers or thunderstorms will be somewhere around 9:30 tonight. Tomorrow, rain steadiest and heaviest through the morning hours. Might see an embedded thunderstorm as well in the first half of the day, and then in the afternoon, showers scattered at times, gusty, and about 18 degrees. So most of the rain, I think, should be done by about lunchtime.
Sounds good. All right, Josh, thanks very much. That's our show. Thanks for watching. For news anytime, visit our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Have a great night.